A thick darkness enveloped the international airport. At 2 a.m., the almost absolute silence was broken only by the distant hum of engines and the faint yellow lights. At the immigration security counter, a seasoned officer suddenly frowned. In his hands was a passport with a completely unfamiliar cover and coat of arms. The words, "Republic of Torenza," were printed crisply on the cover. The woman standing before him was dressed normally, but her eyes revealed extreme exhaustion and bewilderment. The immigration officer flipped through the passport again and again, checking the embossed seal and the security hologram under a specialized light. Everything was perfect, the paper quality was real, the ink was standard, the seal was sharp. It was terrifyingly perfect. "Ma'am," the officer began, trying to keep his voice calm, "we cannot find the nation of Torenza in our global database. Could you please tell us where this country is located?" Panic welled up in the woman's eyes. She trembled, her lips murmuring inaudible words. A senior security officer was called over. When he repeated the question about the passport's origin, the woman suddenly whispered a disoriented question. "Please, can you tell me, is this the United States of America?" "Yes, ma'am, you are in the US." Upon hearing the confirmation, the woman's face changed. The fear in her eyes was replaced by a more horrifying realization. She muttered, her voice almost dissolving into the air, but loud enough for the nearby security officer to hear and feel a chill run down his spine. "So, I've arrived in another world." Immediately, the woman was escorted to a private security room for further investigation. She was asked to sit on a simple metal chair, facing a security camera that was actively recording. While the officers were discussing the situation outside, an unbelievable scene unfolded. Right before the camera lens and the horrified eyes of those present, the woman's image began to fade. She became as transparent as a phantom before completely vanishing into thin air, leaving behind only an empty chair and a deathly silence. The stunned security officers rushed into the room, but no one was there. They hastily re-examined the passport left on the table. This time, they looked closer at the entry stamps. There were 10 stamps in total, from 10 different countries the woman had traveled through. And that's when they realized the most terrifying truth. Not a single one of those countries had ever existed on any map in this world. The passport and the empty chair were the only remaining evidence of a mysterious visitor from a non-existent place, who had appeared and disappeared like a ghost, leaving behind a permanent question that challenges all known laws of physics and human understanding of reality. To solve a mystery born in a sterile, artificially lit room, sometimes we must cast our analysis outward, to a place where darkness is eternal and light takes millions of years to travel. The answer to the Torenza event isn't found in security protocols or psychological profiles. It lies out there, written in the language of gravity and radiation, carried on the journey of a cosmic visitor even more solitary and strange than the woman herself. The interstellar comet, 3I divided by Atlas. Understanding the fundamental difference of this object is the key to unlocking the entire mystery. Most comets we know are familiar members of our solar system's family. They are remnants from the primordial nebula that birthed our sun and its planets, bound by our star's gravity, tracing predictable elliptical orbits like faithful ships returning to their home port. They are our living history. But 3I divided by Atlas was different. It wasn't a native returning home. It was an outsider, an interloper, an object with an extreme hyperbolic trajectory, an unmistakable mathematical signature that it does not belong here. It was making a single pass, a cosmic flyby, like a vessel sailing past a remote island before continuing its endless voyage into the ocean between the stars. It carried within it the chemical and physical secrets of an entirely different corner of the galaxy. When it entered our field of view, instruments around the world were ready to capture every photon, every particle of energy it emitted, hoping to decode its composition. No one could have predicted they were about to record something far stranger. Deep within the astronomical data archives from that fateful night, amid terabytes of silent, steady information, lies a single stark anomaly. In the records from the high-energy spectrometers aimed at 3I divided by Atlas, a sharp, almost perfectly vertical spike tears through the stillness of the baseline. The first reaction to such a signal is to hunt for a system error. A stray cosmic ray? Ruled out, as the signal was recorded simultaneously across multiple independent sensors. A geomagnetic disturbance? Ruled out, as magnetometers on the ground recorded nothing unusual. What remained was an inexplicable fact. It was a transient event, an energy pulse lasting a mere 0.7 seconds. And more importantly, its spectral analysis matched no known astrophysical phenomenon. It wasn't a gamma-ray burst, a solar flare, or radiation from a pulsar. It was an entirely new energy signature, unnervingly clean, with no associated noise, almost as if it were a broadcast with a clear purpose. And then, the most critical detail, the one that elevated a scientific anomaly into a metaphysical mystery, the timestamp, calibrated by atomic clocks to the billionth of a second, 2:24 and 11 seconds AM. This moment did not exist in a vacuum. When cross-referenced with the security logs of the Torenza event, a stunning synchronization emerged. The instant the mysterious energy pulse was emitted from the comet, millions of miles from Earth, it perfectly coincided with the moment the woman vanished from the security room. In science, there is no such thing as a coincidence on this level of precision. This was evidence of a link, an invisible thread connecting a microscopic event on Earth to a macroscopic event between planets. This leads to the central question, why now? Why at the exact moment the comet reached perihelion, its closest point to the Sun? The answer lies in energy and pressure. Perihelion is not just a milestone on an orbital map, it is a trial by fire, a moment of intense transformation, an activation point. As 3I divided by Atlas plunged toward the Sun, it was subjected to an energy assault on an unimaginable scale. The star's immense gravity didn't just pull, it stretched and squeezed the comet, creating massive tidal forces and tremendous friction within its alien core. Simultaneously, a hurricane of radiation and solar wind slammed its surface with an intensity it had never experienced in its lonely, million-year journey between the stars. It was at perihelion, when these two factors reached their absolute peak, that something was triggered. Imagine 3I divided by Atlas, not as ice and rock, but as a metaphysical tuning fork. In the cold of deep space, it's silent. But when placed in the furnace of the Sun, it wasn't just heated, it was struck. The extreme pressure and energy caused its unique material structure to resonate at a specific frequency. A frequency perhaps not native to our dimension, one capable of interacting with the very fabric of reality itself. The signal that was recorded wasn't an explosion, it was the echo of that strike. It was a space-time ping, a ripple sent out from a visitor beyond our solar system. And by a mechanism we can only guess at, perhaps through a phenomenon known as interdimensional quantum resonance, that ripple found a perfect echo, an object vibrating at the same frequency within our universe, the molecular structure of the woman from Torenza. This grand coincidence, when analyzed, reveals itself to be a law of cause and effect we had never discovered, a cosmic symphony conducted by an unseen maestro. This event forced scientists beyond the boundaries of known physics. It was no longer a story about a mysterious woman, but about the nature of reality itself. 3 primary hypotheses emerged, each opening a door to a cosmos far stranger than we ever imagined. The first hypothesis, and perhaps the most elegant, is rooted in the far frontiers of theoretical physics, specifically M-theory. This theory suggests that our 4-dimensional universe is merely a brain floating in a higher dimensional hyperspace known as the bulk. Imagine an infinite library where each page is a parallel universe. According to this hypothesis, 3I divided by Atlas, with its immense energy at perihelion, created a powerful ripple in space-time, causing our universal page to warp and momentarily touch an adjacent one, the page of the Torenza universe. The woman's appearance wasn't a journey, but a random spillover through that point of contact. Her disappearance occurred as the comet moved on, the ripple subsided, and the two brains separated, pulling her back to her native reality. The second hypothesis delves deeper into the bizarre world of quantum mechanics. It posits that parallel universes vibrate at different frequencies of reality. Like countless radio stations broadcasting simultaneously, they all coexist, but we can only tune into one at a time because we are not in phase with the others. In this view, 3I divided by Atlas, when triggered, acted as a cosmic tuning fork. It emitted a vibration that, by sheer chance, perfectly matched the reality frequency of the Torenza universe, creating a phenomenon of interdimensional quantum resonance that briefly brought the two universes into phase. The woman's ghost-like disappearance fits this theory perfectly. She didn't go anywhere. The resonance simply ended, and her quantum structure fell out of phase with our reality, rendering her invisible to us. The third and most audacious hypothesis eliminates chance entirely. It proposes that 3I divided by Atlas was not a natural phenomenon. It was a piece of technology, a perfectly disguised machine. Echoing the debates surrounding Oumuamua, it could be an ancient interstellar transport vessel. Perihelion in this scenario was not an accident, but a planned refueling or activation point, using the sun's massive energy to power a reality-shifting engine. The woman's appearance could have been an accident, a passenger falling out of the ship's containment field as the gate opened. Her disappearance was an emergency remote retrieval. The second possibility is more chilling. It was a deliberate test, a brief probe, sending an object through to gather data on our reality before being recalled. Regardless of which hypothesis holds the truth, a random ripple in the cosmic brain, a fleeting quantum resonance, or the deliberate act of an impossible technology, we are left with its silent, irrefutable evidence, the Torenza passport. It has been subjected to the world's most advanced laboratories, analyzed by our most brilliant minds. The results are always the same. Its materials do not match any known elements on the periodic table. The ink is fused with the paper fibers at a molecular level. The holographic seal is not a hologram. It is a functioning, microscopic, three-dimensional structure. It is an impossible object, a product of a technology thousands of years beyond our own, and the mute testimony that somewhere, Torenza is real. So, where does that leave us? We are left with a perfect puzzle, a mystery exquisitely balanced between a cosmic accident and a deliberate act. The Torenza File forces us to confront our most profound philosophical questions, most notably the Fermi paradox. If the universe is teeming with intelligent life, where is everybody? Perhaps the answer is not that they are too far away in space, but that they are too close in dimension. Perhaps the universe is not an empty house, but a crowded apartment building, and we are merely living in one unit, completely unaware of the neighbors living just on the other side of reality's wall. This event suggests that our reality may not be as solid or as isolated as we believe. It can be influenced, warped, and perhaps even breached by outside forces. We are not the masters of our own house, but merely tenants in a cosmos with rules we do not fully understand, rules that can sometimes change without notice. 3I divided by Atlas has continued its journey. It passed its perihelion, fulfilled its mysterious purpose, and is now plunging back into the infinite darkness between the stars, taking the answers to the Torenza mystery with it. It will never return. We are left with its legacy, an indecipherable passport, and a truth that is as inspiring as it is unsettling. The truth that the universe is vast, strange, and interconnected in ways we are only just beginning to dream of. The woman from Torenza was not a phantom or a figment of imagination. She was a messenger, living proof that we are not only not alone in the cosmos, but perhaps we are not even alone in our own reality. And sometimes it only takes one traveler from a distant shore to pass by, to create a ripple strong enough to give us a glimpse of other oceans.